of a timid and fearful. So timid, the word actually means lacking in self-assurance, courage, or bravery. Easily alarmed, shy, and it's the indication of fear. So fear is, and we did a module on this, a session on this, is a distressing emotion aroused by impending danger, evil or pain, real or imagined. So the causes of a timid spirit: generational wounding in ancestors, parents. And this isn't some weird Bible spiritual term. I look at it when you go to the doctor, or even when you're talking amongst friends and you bring up a condition. You might, be bringing up an eye thing, or a chronic headache thing, or a back thing, and so even your friend will say, "Oh, does that run in your family?" Or you go to the doctor and they say, "Do you have cancer? Do you have this or that or the other thing?" Because a lot of things are passed down. So just for an example, if your mother had this kind of wounding and was fearful and timid, her parenting might be like that as well. And so she might be super overprotective, not letting you go out, not letting you do this, not just kind of controlling and making sure she knew everything about where you were, and controlling the outcome of, trying to control the outcome of your life. So that wounding can get passed down. So that's what that means. Early trauma in life, that could be something like a hard birth or parenting abuse, present day traumas, war experiences. Characteristics. So this is what it would like if this kind of wounding was characteristic by you. You would need lots of love and reassurance and love. You would draw back from new situations, desiring to be kept in the background. They would have a guarded approach to life and wouldn't come out to meet you. An unwillingness to trust. They live with the expectation that life will hit them in the back. They may be very sensitive to criticism. And they would keep their timid spirit closed and locked against others. These are the functions that are impaired. Communication with others becomes very inhibited. And so this might be someone that communicates and asks all the questions. I don't ever want to ask. I don't want to ever be asked questions. I'm never vulnerable. I'm always everything's perfect. Everything's fine. Inability to comfort or empower their own body and soul, or that of others in needs. And we're all born with the ability in our spirit to comfort and be a comfort to others. If we were made in the image of God and God is our comforter, then we have that spirit within us to be comforted. And this is really what we need to get to the point of, is to being able to have God as our comforter, to have His Spirit as our comforter, instead of going to Angry Birds on your phone, or is that still a game? Whatever it is, relationships or alcohol or whatever it is. We seek that outside comfort. It could be work. It could be prestige. All those things that we need comfort from, we're actually given the ability to get it from within us and from within God. And so a lot of the things that will be changing how we get our comfort, I know for me, I listen to worship music. And I have a playlist, and I probably have to expand it because I hear it over and over and over. And it's like, that's how I'm comforted now. Just even reading my Bible. Silence, quietness and silence. And believe me, I am not perfect, because in my retreat this last week, some of that stuff came up is, where do I get my comfort from? So I think it's a process. So number 2 is the imprisoned spirit. Imprisoned. Causes of an imprisoned spirit. Domination or control by others. Bondage, physical or spiritual. Legalism, very strict home regime at home. Whether that's parenting, very strict parenting, or kind of your dad was in the military and expected the home to run like a military base, or it could be private schools and rulers. Did anybody have that? The private school and the ruler? I did. It's hard stuff. You got to behave. The domination or control by others. We can see that through a sibling, through an older or younger sibling that is manipulative, that is dominant physically. We can see that even with parents, that kind of thing. So that is the causes of the imprisoned spirit. Characteristics. So this is what it would look like. Isolation, usually self-imposed, and independent lifestyle. Control of their own life and others. So I'm feeling out of control, so I try to control everything around me. Legalism is a lifestyle, so I structure my life around rules and structure, and there's no flexibility at all. Guilt. So just feeling bad, feeling wrong, feeling not good enough. Kind of that person that's always saying, oh, what did I do now? It's like, hey, can we talk later? Oh, what did I do? Oh my goodness. Fear. Relationally, physically, and not taking risks. Functions impaired. The primary function of communication is seriously impaired. The secondary function of revelation and intuition is seriously distorted. And so you could look at this as, lack of intimacy, lack of knowing, really getting to know people, a lack of being able to be vulnerable or even needing people. I look at, if ever you can imagine being, or you've been in jail, there's specific things you don't talk about, and you keep everybody at arm's length so you don't get in trouble. Because there are people there that look at you, if you show weakness, they'll look at you as prey, and they'll dominate you and control you. So that's kind of, that imprisoned spirit is, kind of acting like you live life out of prison, out of jail, and you just keep everybody here, and you kind of roll with everything that you got to do. Kind of that everybody's out to get you, back against the wall. The crushed spirit, number 3. Crushed. Causes of a crushed spirit. Inappropriate burden bearing. And you can see this in single parenting. You can see this in absentee parenting, where a child might have taken a place of a partner, where secrets are told, where responsibilities are given, that a normal child wouldn't really have, shouldn't have the responsibility of. Shame by authority figures, and just, in punishment to kids, or being annoyed by children, just saying things like, I wish you were never, or why don't you always, and really having words that cause them to believe certain things in who they actually are. By the time your brain gets to 11, after 11 your brain changes and you start to perceive things differently. But anywhere under 11, your perception of when somebody calls you something, you actually think you're that, whether it's you're stupid or whatever. Inappropriate burden bearing, shame by authority figures, harsh leadership. That could be physical punishment. Remember the belt. Remember the spankings. That kind of stuff. It could be lots of timeouts, or just kind of unrealistic punishments that might, by good parents, seem like a good thing at the time, but maybe it wasn't appropriate. And by any means, and I know I have been parented, and I have been and still am a parent, and I know that I haven't been perfect.